If your LG television has sound but no picture, do not immediately assume that the screen has failed. The cause may be an external device, an HDMI cable, an incorrect picture setting, a temporary software problem, or an internal fault involving the backlight, power supply, mainboard, or display panel. Begin by checking whether the television can display its own menus. Use the original LG remote control and press one of the volume buttons. Look closely for the volume bar on the screen. You can also press the settings or home button. If the volume indicator, home screen, or settings menu appears normally, the television display is working. The problem is more likely to involve the selected input, HDMI cable, set-top box, game console, streaming device, or another external source. If you cannot see any menus or indicators, even though sound is playing, the problem is more likely to be inside the television. First, confirm that the correct input has been selected. Press the input button and choose the HDMI port connected to your device. Restart the external device by switching it off and disconnecting its power cable for several seconds. Reconnect it and allow it to start completely. Next, disconnect and reconnect the HDMI cable at both ends. Make sure each connector is fully inserted. Try a different HDMI port on the television. If possible, test another known working HDMI cable. A damaged cable can sometimes carry audio while failing to transmit a stable video signal. You should also test a built-in application, such as YouTube or another streaming service installed directly on the television. If built-in apps display a normal picture but the connected device does not, the LG television itself is probably working. The external device, cable, input setting, or video output resolution should then be checked. If the television menus are visible, but the screen is extremely dark, open the picture settings. Check the selected picture mode, brightness level, and energy saving settings. Energy saving functions can reduce the screen brightness considerably. Temporarily disable energy saving and select a standard picture mode to see whether the image improves. Some LG models also offer a picture test or screen self-diagnosis function. The menu path varies with the WebOS version, but it is usually found under All Settings, Support, and Picture Test or Screen Self-Diagnosis. Run the test and examine the image carefully. If the test image looks normal, the problem is probably caused by the broadcast signal, external device, application, cable, or input configuration. If the test image is also dark, blue, distorted, or completely missing, the problem is more likely to involve the television's settings or internal hardware. A screen with a strong blue or purple tint is a different symptom from a completely black screen. Begin by checking the color temperature, tint, and reduce blue light settings. Try restoring the picture settings to their default values. On some LG televisions, pressing the mute button 3 times opens a menu containing an AV reset option. The exact procedure varies, so check the instructions for your model before using it. If the menus, built-in apps, and picture test all have the same blue tint, an external HDMI device is unlikely to be responsible. On an LED or LCD television, a persistent blue or purple picture can be caused by deterioration of the LED backlight. The LEDs may still illuminate the screen, but the light they produce no longer has the correct color. As the problem becomes worse, the picture may become darker or disappear while the sound continues normally. Remember that an LG OLED television does not use conventional LED backlight strips. Each OLED pixel produces its own light. Therefore, a backlight strip repair does not apply to OLED models. Before considering an internal repair, perform a complete power cycle. Turn the television off and unplug it from the electrical outlet. With the TV disconnected, press and hold the physical power button on the television for approximately 30 seconds. Leave the TV unplugged, briefly reconnect it directly to a working wall outlet, and switch it on. Disconnect all HDMI and USB devices during this test. If the LG logo, home screen, and menus return, reconnect the external devices one at a time until you identify the source of the problem. If there is still sound but no LG logo, volume bar, menu, or picture test, the television probably requires internal diagnosis. On an LED or LCD model, failed backlight strips are one possible cause. The television may still produce the video image, but without illumination, the screen appears black. Other possibilities include the LED driver section of the power board, the main power supply, the main board, a display control circuit, loose internal ribbon cables, or the LCD panel itself. The symptoms can sometimes help narrow the fault. If the screen flashes briefly when the TV is switched on, and then becomes black, the backlight or LED driver may be shutting down after detecting a fault. If part of the screen remains illuminated while another section is dark, one or more backlight strips may have failed. If the screen is evenly illuminated but displays no image, the problem may involve the main board, display control system, ribbon connections, or panel. These observations are useful, but they are not a complete diagnosis. Electrical measurements and model-specific service information may still be required. Replacing LED strips is often presented online as a simple and inexpensive repair. The replacement parts themselves may not be especially expensive, but reaching them usually requires almost complete disassembly of the television. The rear cover, circuit boards, frame, LCD panel, diffuser sheets, and reflector layers may all need to be removed. The LCD panel is extremely thin and fragile. Bending it slightly, lifting it unevenly, pressing on its surface, or allowing dust between the diffuser sheets can permanently damage the television. The diffuser sheets must also be returned in the correct order and orientation. Reversing or creasing, one, can create bright areas, shadows, or uneven illumination. Opening a television also exposes power supply components that can retain a dangerous electrical charge after the TV has been unplugged. Do not touch capacitors, power boards, or exposed electrical connections unless you are qualified to work safely on electronic equipment. Do not replace the LED strips based only on the fact that the TV has sound but no picture. The same symptom can be caused by several different boards or by the panel itself. Record the complete model number from the label on the rear of the television before ordering parts or requesting service. LG televisions with similar screen sizes can use different panels, power boards, and LED strip sets. To summarize, start by pressing Volume, Home, or Settings to see whether the TV can display its own interface. Test built-in apps, restart external devices, reconnect the HDMI cable, and try another input. Check the picture and energy-saving settings, run the LG picture test, and perform one complete power cycle. If the television's menus and test image are also missing, or if the entire screen has developed a permanent blue tint, the TV may have an internal backlight, power board, main board, control circuit, or panel problem, because replacing the backlight requires handling a fragile display panel and working near high voltage components. Professional repair is the safest option unless you have the correct tools, technical information, and electronics experience